Have you heard the expression, we wrote the book on it? Well, it's something that gets people listening, and I'm going to explain a bit more about that in this video. You see, being a published author makes you stand out from all the rest. Most people think that writing a book is difficult, so few people do. But the thing about writing a book is it bestows credibility. People think you must be knowledgeable if you wrote a book on a particular subject. And people will regard you as an expert. They'll seek you out and they'll listen to what you have to say. So, is writing a book difficult? Well, a lot of that depends on what type of book you're writing. Non-fiction is easier to write than fiction. And if you can write articles or blog posts, then you can write a book, because basically writing a book is just writing a lot of articles and stringing them together as chapters. That's a very good way to do it, a very easy way to do it. Of course, if you don't want all the hassle of writing your own book, you can always hire a ghostwriter to do it for you. And there are lots of places online that you can hire ghostwriters. A good site to look on is Upwork, which you can find here at upwork.com. And you can see there's lots of people here who are ghostwriters. You scroll down here, you can see some of them have got quite a lot of experience. Like this lady here has got 30 years experience in the publishing business. Down here, this lady here wrote an Amazon best-selling book for a client. Now, none of these people are cheap. You'll notice they tend to go in the $30 to $40 per hour range. And you also have to bear in mind that it does take a long time to write a book. But if you've got the money to invest and you're confident of success and the ghostwriter has proved that they've got a demonstrable track record, then it could be a very good investment for you. Now, there are two main types of publication that you can write. And the first one is an ebook. Now, an ebook is an electronic book, and it's something that can be distributed over the internet. And an ebook can either be in PDF format, or it can be formatted for e-readers like the Amazon Kindle. And the second type of publication is a printed book, the sort of hardback or paperback book that you would buy in a bookshop. Ebooks tend to sell for a lower price point than printed books, principally because, of course, you don't have all the printing and the distribution that you have to have with a hardcover or paperback book. And some ebooks are also bought and sold with private label rights, otherwise known as PLR. Now, printed books tend to be held in a higher regard than ebooks. And if you've written a printed book, then quite often you really are considered to be an expert. One guy that I used to know who ran a marketing agency had a printed book done. He'd written lots of articles that he put up on his blog and that he put on article directories and other places like that. And he composed them all together, and he had them printed into a hardcover book. And when he went to pitch for offline business, he would actually hand out a copy of his book as a freebie. And people would be really impressed by this, think, oh, goodness, he's written a book. He's wrote the book on the subject. He must be really good. So it does tend to be held in much higher regard than just an ebook, because people think that it is much more difficult to write a printed book. It isn't, but that's what people think. And of course, there's no reason why you can't distribute your book in both formats. So you could have an ebook and you could also have a printed version. It's pretty much the same content. Now, when it comes to distributing your book, a lot of what you do is going to depend on whether you're writing a printed book or whether you're writing an ebook. Now, when it comes to distributing ebooks, there are a couple of ways you can do that. You can do so via your own website, or you can do it online via a third-party website. Now, a few third-party sites that you might sell your ebook on are ClickBank, which is clickbank.com, JVZoo, which is jvzoo.com, and if you're writing for the Amazon Kindle, you can publish it on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, which is amazonkdp.com. And what all these sites will do is they will let affiliates market your ebook for you in return for a percentage of the profits. And you can actually get your ebook marketed very quickly through these sites. Now, when it comes to distributing printed books, again, there are several ways that you can go. You can either do it via your own website. You can print the book off on your own printer and bind it in a cone binding and send it out in the mail. But it's probably going to be much better in the long run to do it via some sort of print-on-demand service. A few print-on-demand sites to consider are CreateSpace, which you'll find here at createspace.com. And this is owned by Amazon, so you can actually sell your hard copy book through Amazon.com and get it printed on demand through CreateSpace, and it all ties together very easily. So it is a good way to get your book to market very quickly. In the UK, there's blurb.co.uk. They handle on-demand book printing. And also in the US, there's Vervante, which you can find here at vervante.com. You can also distribute printed books via bookstores, but this does require a hefty investment because you've got to pay to have all the books printed. You've got to send them out to the bookstores. And a lot of bookstores will only take books on a sale or return basis, especially from an untried author. So if the book doesn't sell, then they're going to send it back to you and they're going to want their money back. So it's best to pitch your book at a conventional publisher if you plan on going down this route. So there you go. Once you've written the book on something, you will be heard because people will think that you are an expert.